Why are you sitting in the dark again, Eric? Every night lately, I walk into this living room and find you staring into nothing like your mind is somewhere far away from me. I keep asking myself if I did something wrong, if I stopped being enough for you, if maybe love slowly disappeared from your heart and I was the last person to notice. But the worst part is that even now, after all the silence between us, I still look at you and feel my chest tighten, because I love you so much it physically hurts.
Don't say that. Please don't look at me like I'm some stranger who stopped caring. That's not what happened, Queency. I swear to you, that's not what happened. I've just been tired. Tired in a way I don't even know how to explain anymore. Every day feels heavier than the last. Work. Bills. Pressure. Expectations. I wake up already exhausted. And somewhere in the middle of trying to survive everything, I started losing parts of myself. But I never stopped loving you.
Then why does loving you feel so lonely now?
Because I stopped knowing how to carry my pain properly. And instead of talking to you, instead of leaning on you, I shut down. I thought if I stayed quiet long enough, things would fix themselves. I thought I was protecting you from my stress, but all I did was push you away slowly.
Do you know how many nights I cried beside you while you slept? Do you know how painful it is to miss someone who's lying inches away from you? I kept waiting for you to notice I was falling apart too. I kept hoping you'd hold me the way you used to. But every week, every month, we became colder. And I hated myself because no matter how neglected I felt, you were still the person I wanted comfort from.
I didn't realize it was this bad.
That's part of the problem, Eric. You stopped seeing me.
No. I never stopped seeing you. I stopped seeing myself clearly. Every time I looked at you, all I could think about was how much you deserved better than the version of me I became.
I never asked for perfection.
I know that now.
No, you don't. Because if you understood, you would have talked to me instead of shutting me out. You would have trusted me enough to let me stand beside you emotionally instead of leaving me alone in this relationship.
I was scared.
Scared of what?
Scared that one day you'd finally realize loving me was exhausting.
Eric. Loving you was never exhausting. Feeling unwanted by you was.
Do you remember the tiny apartment we started in? The one with the leaking ceiling and the broken kitchen drawer?
Of course I remember. We barely had money, but somehow those were the happiest days of my life.
We used to sit on the floor eating instant noodles and laughing like we owned the world.
Because back then, we talked about everything. We dreamed together. We struggled together. I never felt alone with you then.
You used to fall asleep on my chest every night.
And you used to kiss my forehead every morning before work.
I still think about those mornings sometimes. You'd look half asleep, your hair messy, and somehow you still looked like the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen.
Then what happened to us?
Life happened too fast. Responsibilities happened. Fear happened. Somewhere along the way, I became so obsessed with building a future for us that I forgot to protect what we already had in the present.
You know what hurts the most? I never cared about the money or the fancy life. I just wanted you. I wanted your attention. Your time. Your softness. I wanted the man who used to look at me like I mattered more than anything else.
You still matter more than anything else.
Then why do I feel invisible?
Because I failed you emotionally. And the truth is, I've hated myself for it every single day.
Why didn't you tell me that?
Because I thought admitting it would make me weak.
No. It would have made you human.
I didn't know how to be vulnerable anymore. Somewhere along the way, I convinced myself I had to carry everything alone.
And while you carried everything alone, you left me standing outside your heart begging to be let in.
I'm sorry.
I know you are. That's why this hurts so much. There was a night, 3 months ago when I packed a bag.
What?
You were asleep in the bedroom. We had just finished arguing for almost 2 hours, and you walked away from me in the middle of the conversation like my feelings were too exhausting to deal with. I sat on the kitchen floor crying until I couldn't breathe properly anymore. Then I got up, went into the closet, and packed enough clothes for a week.
Why didn't you tell me this?
Because you looked so tired that night. I remember standing beside the bed staring at you while you slept, and suddenly I started crying harder because even after everything, I still loved you too much to leave.
But why?
You reached for my side of the bed in your sleep. You didn't even wake up. Your hand just searched for me automatically. And the second you touched my arm, I completely broke down emotionally because I realized your body still loved me instinctively even though your heart felt distant while you were awake.
God.
So I unpacked the bag.
I didn't know you were hurting that badly.
That's the tragedy, Eric. We stopped knowing each other's pain even while living in the same house.
I swear I never meant to neglect you.
I know. But unintentional pain still leaves scars.
Do you hate me?
No. And honestly, I wish I did. It would make this easier. But I don't hate you. I still love you so deeply that sometimes it makes me angry at myself.
I still love you too.
Then why does it feel like we're slowly dying anyway?
Because maybe love isn't always enough when two people stop healing together. Can I finally tell you the truth about something?
What truth?
I've been unhappy with myself for a long time. Not with you. Never with you. With myself. I wake up every day feeling like I'm failing at everything. Failing at work. Failing financially. Failing emotionally. Failing as a partner. And every time you looked disappointed or hurt, it confirmed the voice in my head telling me I wasn't enough.
Why didn't you tell me you were struggling this badly?
Because I was ashamed. I grew up believing men were supposed to be strong all the time. I thought if I admitted I was drowning emotionally, you'd lose respect for me.
Eric, do you know what actually made me lose hope? Watching you suffer silently while refusing to let me help you. That's what broke my heart.
I didn't know how to let anyone help me.
Even me?
Especially you.
Why especially me?
Because you mattered the most. And I was terrified you'd see the worst parts of me and decide I wasn't worth loving anymore.
Look at me carefully. Even now, after everything, I still look at you and see the man I fell in love with. Broken? Yes. Exhausted? Yes. Lost? Definitely. But still worthy of love.
Then why does this still feel like goodbye?
Because sometimes love survives, while the relationship doesn't.
Don't say that.
It's true.
I don't want to lose you.
And I don't want to lose myself trying to save something we both stopped nurturing properly. Do you know when I first realized we were changing?
When?
The night my mother was in the hospital. I was terrified. I was shaking. I needed you emotionally more than ever. But you spent the entire evening answering work calls and checking emails while I sat beside your hospital bed trying not to cry.
I remember that night.
I kept looking at the door hoping you'd walk back in and hold me. But you never did. And that was the moment something inside me started breaking quietly.
I thought handling work was helping us financially.
That's the problem. You kept trying to love me practically while I was starving emotionally.
I didn't understand how bad it felt for you.
Because you stopped listening carefully. Every time I tried explaining my feelings, you treated them like problems to solve instead of pain to understand.
I never wanted you to feel emotionally abandoned.
But I did. And eventually, I stopped telling you how lonely I felt because I became tired of explaining sadness to someone who kept misunderstanding it.
I wish I could go back and change everything.
So do I.
Do you think we're beyond fixing?
I think we waited too long to admit how broken we were becoming.
You know the craziest part about all of this?
What?
I never stopped imagining growing old with you. Even during our worst fights. Even during the silence. Even now. My brain still sees you in every version of my future.
Mine too.
Then why does it feel like we're standing on opposite sides of a cliff?
Because love was never our biggest problem. Emotional disconnection was.
I miss you so much even when you're right beside me.
I know exactly what that feels like.
Do you still remember the beach trip we took after our first anniversary?
You mean when we stayed awake all night talking about our dreams?
Yeah.
You told me you wanted a home full of laughter and peace.
And you told me your biggest fear was ending up in a loveless relationship like your parents had.
Funny how life works.
We're not loveless.
No. We're heartbroken. That's different.
I don't know how to accept losing you while still loving you this much.
Neither do I.
You know what keeps replaying in my head every single day? That argument we had last month. The one where you stood in the kitchen crying while I kept pretending everything was fine. I think that was the moment I realized I was losing you emotionally.
That wasn't the moment you lost me. That was the moment I stopped believing you could still hear me.
I heard you.
No, Eric, you heard words. You didn't hear pain. There is a difference. I was standing there begging for emotional connection, begging for honesty, begging for reassurance, and all you kept saying was, "I'm trying." But your version of trying felt so distant that it almost hurt more than if you had stopped trying completely.
Because I didn't know what else to do anymore. Every conversation felt like I was disappointing you before I even opened my mouth.
Do you think it was easy for me? Do you think I enjoyed crying myself to sleep beside the person I love most in this world? I hated what we became. I hated how careful I started acting around you. I hated how every serious conversation felt like walking on broken glass.
I know.
No, I don't think you do. Because if you truly understood how lonely I became, you would understand why I started emotionally shutting down too.
And that scared me.
Good. Because it scared me too. I started looking at us and wondering if love could slowly disappear without either person meaning for it to happen.
But it didn't disappear.
No. That's what makes this tragic. The love stayed. The connection didn't.
I wish you could see how much I still need you.
I do see it. And honestly, that's what breaks my heart the most. I can still feel your love in certain moments. When you check if I've eaten. When you pull the blanket over me while thinking I'm asleep. When you stare at me during quiet moments like you were trying to memorize my face. I know you still love me.
Then don't leave me, please.
You're asking me to stay in a relationship that's slowly destroying both of us emotionally.
Maybe we can still fix it.
Maybe. But love shouldn't feel like surviving a storm every day. Can I ask you something honestly? When was the last time you were truly happy?
I don't know.
That scares me. Because I think somewhere along the way, we became so focused on responsibilities and stress and surviving adulthood that we forgot how to enjoy each other anymore.
I tried.
I know you did. But trying while emotionally exhausted can only go so far before everything starts collapsing.
Sometimes I would sit in my car after work for almost an hour before coming inside.
Why?
Because I was afraid. Afraid of seeing disappointment in your eyes again. Afraid that I'd walk through the door and immediately feel like I failed you somehow.
Eric. I never wanted you to fear coming home to me.
I know that now. But at the time, every conversation felt heavy. Even silence felt heavy. I started feeling like I was suffocating emotionally, and instead of communicating that, I just became quieter and quieter.
And your silence made me feel abandoned. There were moments I wanted to scream just to get a reaction from you. Sometimes I would start arguments not because I wanted conflict, but because conflict was the only time you became emotionally expressive anymore. Imagine how it felt living it.
That hurts to hear. I'm sorry.
I know you are. But apologies can't erase years of emotional loneliness.
Then tell me what you want from me now.
I want honesty. Do you truly believe we still know how to make each other happy?
I don't know anymore.
That's the most honest thing you've said in months.
There's something I need to tell you. I started seeing a therapist 2 months ago. I didn't tell you because I felt embarrassed. But I knew something was wrong with me emotionally. I knew I was shutting down. I knew I was becoming disconnected from everything, including you.
What? Why would you hide that from me?
Because I was ashamed of needing help.
Eric, needing help doesn't make you weak.
I know that now. But back then, all I could think about was how badly I was failing at being the man you deserved.
What did the therapist say?
That I spent most of my life confusing emotional suppression with strength. That I learned how to survive pressure, but never learned how to express pain properly.
That sounds accurate.
She asked me something during one session that completely broke me emotionally. She asked, "Why do you believe the people who love you should only receive the strongest version of you?" And I didn't know how to answer. Because the truth is, I never allowed you to truly carry life with me. I loved you, but I kept shutting you out emotionally because I thought protecting you meant hiding my struggles.
You don't know how badly I wanted you to trust me enough to be vulnerable. Part of me is angry hearing this because it means maybe things didn't have to become this broken.
I know now. And part of me will regret it for the rest of my life.
What happens if we say goodbye, Eric? That terrifies me. Because you've been part of my everyday life for years. I don't even know who I am without you anymore.
I don't know, Queency. Because you are still the woman who changed my entire life the day you walked into that cafe.
Talk sweetly to me when we're already breaking apart. It makes this harder.
I can't help it. Loving you is the most natural thing I've ever done.
Then why couldn't we protect it? I think we'll regret each other no matter what happens.
Yeah. Because love requires emotional maintenance, and somewhere along the way, we both became too exhausted to keep repairing the cracks.
Sometimes two people love each other sincerely and still fail each other emotionally.
If this is really goodbye, then I need you to know something before you walk away from me.
What?
You were the greatest love of my life. Nothing that happened between us changes that. Not the fights. Not the silence. Not the heartbreak. Loving you changed me forever.
Eric.
No, please let me finish. I know I failed you emotionally in ways I didn't fully understand until it was too late. I know there were moments you felt abandoned while standing right beside me. And if I could relive our relationship knowing what I know now, I would choose vulnerability over pride every single time.
I never needed perfection from you.
I know. But I spent years believing love meant being strong all the time. And in trying to appear strong, I became emotionally unavailable to the person who mattered most.
You know what hurts the most for me? I still see your goodness. Even now. Even after all the pain. I still see the man who loved me sincerely. And that's what makes this goodbye unbearable. Because it would be easier if you were cruel. It would be easier if you stopped loving me. But you didn't. And I never stopped loving you either.
Then stay. Please. One more chance. One more fight for us. I know we're broken, but broken things can heal sometimes.
Not when both people are emotionally bleeding faster than they're healing.
Please, group of dots, I can change.
I believe you can. But healing takes time, and right now we've become trapped inside cycles that keep hurting both of us. We love each other deeply, but we no longer know how to love each other peacefully.
So this is it? I don't know how to exist in a world where you're no longer mine.
You don't own me, Eric. You loved me. And I loved you. That's different.
Promise me something. Promise me you won't rewrite our story into something ugly just because it ended painfully.
I could never do that. You gave me some of the happiest moments of my life too.
I'm sorry for every moment you felt loved by me.
And I'm sorry for every moment my pain made you feel like you weren't enough.
Do you think maybe in another life we would have gotten it right?
Maybe in another life we would have met at a healthier time. Maybe we would have understood ourselves better before trying to carry each other. I should go before I lose the courage to leave.
Don't rush. Please. Just stay for one more minute.
1 more minute won't change what we already know.
I know. I just can't stand the thought of the door closing behind you. Please. I need to memorize your face one last time without anger between us. Without exhaustion. Without sadness swallowing every conversation.
You already know my face by heart.
I wish love and peace had existed together for us.
Me too. Sometimes the saddest goodbyes happen between two people who still love each other deeply.
I never thought we'd become one of those stories. Thank you for loving me the way you did. Even when I didn't know how to receive it properly.
Thank you for trying to love me even while fighting your own battles silently. Goodbye, Eric.